Going to explain about production process of temp, soy sauce and rice wine. First, introduction for temp. This temp is a traditional Indonesian fermented soybean product rich in protein and probiotic. The production process involves fermenting soybean with rhizopus mold, which bind the bean into a firm cake-like texture. And production process: first, selecting and preparing the soybean. Choose high quality of soybean, soak in water for 8 to 12 hours, and dehull the bean by rubbing them to remove outer skins, and rinse and drain thoroughly. Cooking the soya bean and boil it for 30 to 60 minutes to eliminate unwanted bacteria and improve digestibility, and cool them around 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. And then inoculation with temp starter. Add starter culture, which is Rhizopus oligospores or Rhizopus oryzae, and mix well for even distribution, and incubate it at 30 to 35 degrees Celsius for 24 to 48 hours until the bean are bound by a film which form a white mycelium. And then harvesting and storage process. Once fully fermented, the temp should be firm, white and having nutty aroma. It can be stored and refrigerated for about a week or for frozen for longer shelf time, and it can be cooked in various ways such as frying, steaming or grilling. And then second process is soya sauce. This soya sauce is a fermented condiment made from soya bean, wheat, salt and fermenting microorganism. Here is a process for the production of soya sauce. First, selecting and preparing the ingredients such as soya bean, wheat, salt and microorganisms such as Aspergillus oryzae or Aspergillus sojae mold is used for fermentation. And then koji cultivation, which is mold fermentation. Cooked soybean and crushed wheat are mixed in and inoculated with Aspergillus mold spore, and it kept in an humid environment from 25 to 30 degrees Celsius for 2 to 3 days. At this process, the mold grows, breaking down protein and starch into simpler compound. Third process is Maromi fermentation, which is brine fermentation. The koji mixture is mixed with salt water brine and placed in large fermentation tank. Here lactic acid bacteria and yeast develop naturally, and fermentation process lasts for 6 to 2 years. During this fermentation, enzyme and microbes break down protein into amino acids and starch into simpler sugars. And then fourth process is pressing and filtration, which is Maromi fermentation. The fermentation liquid is pressed through cloth or filters to extract the raw soy sauce, and the liquid is then pasteurized to kill the bacteria and enhance the flavor. And then aging. This aging, it is for additional time to develop depth in taste. It is then filtered, sometimes blended with older batch for consistency and bottled. And these are all the types of soy sauce such as light soy sauce, dark soy sauce, tamari soy sauce, sweet soy sauce, etc. And then third process is rice wine. First one, introduction of rice wine. This rice wine, it is an alcoholic beverage made by fermenting rice starch into sugar, which is or then converted into alcohol. It is popular in many Asian countries with varieties such as sake, shazing, wine, magioli and tepai. First, production process of rice wine. Selecting and preparing the rice such as rice type, glutinous or non-glutinous rice is commonly used. And then washing. The rice is washed thoroughly to remove excess starch, and then soaking in water for 6 to 12 hours to soften. And then steaming. This steaming process, cook until soft but not mushy, as excess water can hinder fermentation. And second process is inoculation with fermentation starter. The cooked rice is cooled to around 30 to 35 degrees Celsius. A fermentation starter is added, usually containing mold, which is Aspergillus or Rhizopus, which convert rice starch into fermentable sugar. And then yeast, Saccharomyces cerevisiae or wild yeast, convert sugar into alcohol. Lactic acid bacteria, it is optional, which enhance flavor and prevent spoilages. And third process is fermentation process. The rice and starter mixture is placed in jars or tanks. Water is sometimes added depending on the type of the rice wine. And fermentation process, it is from 20 to 30 degrees Celsius for a few weeks to several months. At this fermentation process, the enzymes break down rice starch into sugar and yeast convert it into alcohol. The longer the fermentation, the more complex the flavor becomes. And fourth process, pressing and filtration. The fermented liquid is pressed to separate the wine from the solid rice residue. Some rice wines are left unfiltered, such as Korean bagioli. while others are filtered for its clarity. And fifth process, aging and bottling. Some rice wines are aged for months or years to develop depth in flavor. The final product is pasteurized or preservation or left raw for a fresher taste. And then the wine is then bottled and sealed. Thank you.